Welcome back, everybody, to SD Live, just outside Petco Park at the Fox Sports San Diego studios. Are you ready for some football? Our Tabitha Lipkin is in another edition of Just Another Sports segment.
The Helix High School football program is nothing short of legendary, and the Highlanders are prepared for yet another season, starting off this weekend in Utah. We catch up with the team in this edition of Just Another Sports segment.
Tradition never graduates, and I think that's really 100% true when it comes to Helix, because that tradition of winning has always been here. And so, it doesn't matter how many guys graduate, the next guys step up, and you got to be ready to compete.
I think there's just that drive, there's an attraction for people that want to be part of something that's special, that want to be part of something that's great. There's just sort of an inherent expectation that Helix is going to be successful. Helix is going to be classy, and Helix is going to do things the right way on and off the field.
I have some pretty high expectations this year. We won CIF last year. I'm not satisfied with that because we lost in the state regional game. I know we should have won that one, so I want to go back and get that state. So that's what I'm trying to lead my guys to.
One team! One team! To be honest with you, this job has been an absolute blessing for me. It's a privilege. The only reason I even applied for this job was because of the tradition that Helix has had.
It's crazy knowing that Reggie Bush went to this school, Alex Smith.
They're great people, first off, and then they are great athletes. I mean, gosh, there are schools that never get one NFL person ever, and here we have the #1 pick overall and the #2 pick overall in consecutive years. Those guys, again, have laid the foundation for what we do here.
You got to not really think about it too much and just play, because once you play, everything will fall apart, and you'll just do what you got to do.
Hail Mary time, baby.
Do you have like a chant that you guys do?
No, we do the jumping jacks before the game, actually. That's a Helix tradition. 10, Helix, jumping jacks, are you ready? Ready, begin. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3.
I'm getting pumped up.
Jackie! We try and hire good people, and when you have good people, you typically get good results with kids. We went through a pretty rigorous process. The process really is designed to get the best person and the best fit for our school and our program, and we did that. Coach Owens rose to the top. He's just hit the ground running, and it's certainly a different atmosphere, and one that I think kids are going to thrive in, coaches are going to thrive in, and one that's going to be very good for our program.
It's like nothing has changed much besides the coaches and the offensive playbook, but it's been great with him. I love him.
We're a proud bunch. We have this saying, once a Scotty, always a Scotty, and Coach Owens is a big believer in that already.
I think if you play for something greater than yourself, the kids give more effort, and that's what I think, we're talking about. The tempo that we practice at, everything that we're doing is about representing something bigger than ourselves.
Once a Scotty, always a Scotty.
Hey, I got it, and then I messed up, bro.
That was the best thing to happen to me all day.
I think you got to cut that out when we...
What would be the best case scenario for this All-Star game for you personally?
I definitely to have us win. I mean, you'd like to be MVP, get a free car, so why wouldn't you want that?
To get in a bat and hit the ball hard and hopefully get a hit.
Me being able to play?
No, probably National League winning. National League winning.
To not embarrass myself.
Well, here is Will Myers. That is into right center field. Into second is Myers. A nice moment for Will Myers, the San Diego Padre.
I don't know. Hit a home run. I think hitting a home run in the All-Star game is something that you get to remember for the rest of your life. So I'd say that.
Might be the premier home run hitter in the National League, and this is belted out of here. Chris Bryant, first pitch swinging.
There's no pressure for me here. I'm really just taking it in and enjoying it. Like I said, San Diego is very special to me, and I owe a lot to this city.
It's really cool to have everyone in one spot and just kind of sit around and pick some of these guys' brains and pitchers about what kind of pitches they throw or their mindsets and stuff. Try and soak up as much information as you can.
Hosmer hits one to left. Back at the
a dream come true to be a part of this special day.
It's always fun coming out to the All-Star game. Always fun, being around the best in baseball, and just enjoying it with the family and friends, and always a lot of fun.
I'm enjoying every minute of it. This could be the last time I ever get to do this, so I just want to soak in every second and enjoy it.
And this game is over in the American League yet again. We'll have home field advantage in the upcoming World Series.
When I heard stories about Tony and Alicia taking in kids, countless number of kids, to make their lives better and nurture them and be foster parents essentially to these kids, that's the one thing that a lot of people don't realize that they did. Everybody realizes you can hit 300. Hey, Christmas Day, wake up, hit 300. But the stuff that was off the field each and every day, off season, during the season, helping kids to become better human beings, countless number of kids and families that he affected during his career and his life when he was with us.
He understood what Anthony Gwynn, when he was coming into the clubhouse, to treat it with respect. It was always about family for Tony, and we knew it as teammates, and we knew it as fans of him.
As far as the time he would spend with them, and that's the type of person and character he was, and just like baseball, it was baseball and family. That was pretty much it with Tony.
Growing up, I felt like my dad was just my dad. Everybody else viewed him as this celebrity or this big star, but from my standpoint, when he came home, when he was at home, he was dad. He was never Tony Gwynn, the ball player. He was always dad to all of us.
John and Chris, this probably apply to you. You just touched about something that clicked. A lot of people don't know what Tony and Alicia did for families and for kids, right?
Oh, wow.
I mean, they're under the radar with that, right?
Yeah,
Am I correct?
yeah. Oh,
they didn't want the publicity.
There were kids that actually moved in, went to school. Alicia and Tony would take care of them. And
well, over at the house, there was always somebody new, and there
right.
was always, that house was alive,
Yeah.
because it wasn't like quiet. It was people. I mean, and you new people all the time, and our doors were open to everybody.
They're both, Alicia and Tony were both brought up the same way, and treat people the way you want to be treated. And kids were always his kryptonite. You know it, and if he could help a kid, he was going to stop and help him.
I mean, family was the #1 priority for my father. I think he took a lot of pride in being a good husband and a great father, and I think he wanted to expand on his relationship, especially between him and I, because I felt like when it came to my dad and his father's relationship, there were things I think that he might have felt like he missed out on. So he made it an unbelievable effort to try to mend that gap that there might have been between us, and he did a great job.
Guys, I think when we sit back here and we reflect on Tony, our job is to celebrate the rest of our lives through him and his message that he imparted on us as the 25th guy on the roster, the star closer, the brother, the agent, hitting coach, all of that stuff. What do we do? What's next for us? Because we have to enhance his life, just like we did tonight. It's the fun stories that put a smile on our face all the time when we think of Tony.
What I always like to do when I talk about Tony is talk about what we talked about. His smile, how he helped people. I always feel that when I talk about Tony and talk about his hitting ability, I'm wasting air. Everyone knows that, especially in this area.
Swing Dog, when I think about T. Gwynn, I think about him as a hitter. I think about him as a player, but who he was as a hitter and who he was as a player also extended into his personal life. And so for me, that's how I think about it, because you're right, man, he didn't say a lot, but when he said something, E.F. Hutton, brother, you better listen, because this is going to help you, not just in baseball, but after the game is done, after the game is played, progressing in your life, being a good human being, being a good man. That's how I take from him. That's what I took from him.
Trevor?
I just think he's irreplaceable, man. I think of him as a lot like Boggsy was talking about, that human being that just thought about other people. And I think of him about as a husband. I could see him as a father in the back end of the clubhouse with Anthony, raising him in a world that other dads don't do. And I didn't have kids yet, and I was learning. I think about how humble he was and what Chris talked about, living on a roof that taught things about life that transcend about a Hall of Fame baseball player. Talk about being a man, all right? Talk about impacting people around you. That's what this dude stood for. If you want to listen, you're going to gain a lot of knowledge. If you closed up, he was cool with it. You'll show up one day. You'll come a knocking, and you'll be there. And I just love the way he lived his life. He's irreplaceable. We miss him. I miss him in San Diego. I miss him. I think about him daily, to be very honest with you.
For me, it's like they all touched on. You know, the baseball speaks for itself. But he did it the right way. Not just on the field, but off the field. Baseball was part of it, but his family was the most important part to him. And I was fortunate because my son got to play for him. And my son looked up to him. And the first thing Alicia says today is, how's Corey? How's my guy? Junior, how's Corey? So it wasn't about baseball. It was about the, sorry.
No sorries.
But it was about the person. He helped my career tremendously, but he helped my son become a better person. And that's what people don't get to see. That's the part that they will never know. He took me on like part of the family, you know what I mean?
It's a real thing.
Yeah. And when my son went there, I knew he was in good hands. I didn't have to worry about him. T, do whatever you do, and Corey's gonna be that much better.
Chris?
It's that older brother. I had two older brothers, Charles and Tony. So that leads you in the right direction, even when you don't want to be led. Just the conversations. I could call him. I would call Alicia. Hey, Alicia, where's Tony? Oh, he'll call you right back. You know, and the conversations would be just about life, not about get your foot down or keep your hands in, or although he may get that in, but it was more about how's little Tony? How's Joshua, my son? How's Maya, my daughter? How's Joanne? At the end of the day, I think the blueprint is there. And the blueprint is you live your life the way you're supposed to live it. You treat people the way they want to be treated, that you want to be treated. And it's what you leave as far as your legacy and what you want to be remembered for, not how many cars you have or how much money you have. And anybody that hung around with Tony, they figured that out pretty quick because family was the most important thing for him. So
I'll start with Chris's last comment, family. Tony lit up every time he mentioned Alicia or somebody mentioned Anisha or Anthony. I never saw somebody display so much courage, what he was going through, when he was in that booth, going through chemotherapy, the shape that he was in, to show up each and every day and try to do a ball game. And when he showed up each and every day, he would laugh, he wouldn't complain. I would drive home after a game and my heart would just break to see what he was going through, but he would never, ever complain. The guy was a stud. Sure, he's a Hall of Famer, but as a person, a family man, he lit up when it came to family. That was his beacon, that was his shining light.
Boggsy?
Well, with me, I was so fortunate to be in the pathway of Tony Gwynn in my life. I felt I was getting more than I was giving. Whenever you come across Tony, what you want is more of him. You know, I wanted more of him. And that's what I'm going to miss the most, is not having him around, because you want to talk so much about him and you can't get all the adjectives and the words together, and it sounds repetitive, but it is. It's repetitive and consistent, and that's who Tony was. He was consistent and repetitive in all the things that you should be, and that's always something to strive for. It just, there's always that missing void, but you try to keep it as close as you can because his presence really is always there.
In the booth with Tony, he and I would work together, do games, and we would try to sing songs and try rap songs like Sugar Hill Gang and do all the Yo MTV raps. And I would get him going and cackling and laughing, and that's something that I'll never forget.
He'd laugh at anything. It could be a bad joke, but he would laugh, I think, to make you feel good. And
that's what you miss. You miss the laughter. You miss his character and his just being.
He was always so good with everybody, you know, and he always had that smile on his face. And we always respected Tony because he was in San Diego. He stayed in San Diego. No one would ever take him away from his hometown.
The beauty of this city and how I've been able to grieve with my dad's passing is they're involved in it. It's very rare that I don't get a story that explains to me how my dad impacted their life.
This was an unbelievable evening in a way that I wasn't quite sure how really impactful it was going to be to me. I mean, we get a chance to talk about Tony and what our experiences are with him and how it affected people around us.
He let me be myself. He knew I was going to talk mess. He just wore it. He just took it. He dished it out. He did a lot of laughing. We had a lot of fun, and that's what I'm going to miss.
I definitely looked up to him, and it was a true honor to be in the game when he was playing, and so dearly missed.
He was such an exceptional individual and such a treasure, and a tribute to the city of San Diego. And hey, he was Mr. Padre, and everybody knows that.
Well, guys, I ask this. To his family, to the 5.5 hole, to the cackle, to all of what he's done for all of us individually and for the Padre fans, I salute.
Hey, T.
19 and Mr. Padre.
Absolutely.
Hey. Love you, T. Miss
Love
you.
you, T.
Great.
Love you, T.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.